Welcome to the deep dive. We are staring into the face of AI this week, and what we found is a starkly dual reality.
It really is. On one side, you've got AI as this hyper-efficient, sometimes, let's be honest, slightly boring tool.
Right, the tool that promises a quantifiable 10% boost to your ROI just by optimizing a subject line.
Exactly. It's all compliance, productivity graphs, and streamlining workflows. Very corporate.
And then on the other side, you have the profound, the bizarre, and the existentially weird.
That's where it gets really interesting. We're talking about technology that is enabling conversations with digital clones of the deceased for a staggering price tag.
And it's making mythical creatures into social media influencers and generating ASMR videos that are like designed to defy the laws of physics.
It's a huge spectrum.
A massive spectrum. And our sources this week cover all of it, from these meticulously analyzed lists of the 20 best AI tools for marketing with all the compliance checklists.
All the way to detailed transcripts covering the ethical debates around these so-called Griefbots and the latest viral cultural trends.
It's like that unsettling food eating itself aesthetic. We have to talk about that later.
Oh, we do. So our mission today is really to give you that necessary shortcut. The goal is to lay out the whole map of the landscape for you.
From the boardroom to the latest viral TikTok.
Right, so you can quickly grasp what's most important for your professional life, but also understand this strange, rapidly evolving cultural shift that's redefining memory, entertainment, and even how we grieve.
Exactly. We're covering the hyper-efficiency, the digital afterlife, and the cultural weird core, all in one sitting. Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start with the money. Because when AI gets integrated into a business, the promise is almost always ROI. Return on investment.
It has to be.
And we see this massive surge in specialized AI tools that all seem to share one core mission-making marketing campaigns more measurable, more targeted, and, highly productive.
Precisely. And from what we've analyzed, it really boils down to three main vectors where AI is generating these measurable bottom line improvements.
Okay.
It's not magic. It's just mathematical optimization at a massive scale. So first, you have advanced personalization.
Right.
Second is automated campaign management. And third, and this is maybe the most important, is data-driven decision-making.
And it's the combination of those three, I'm guessing.
That's it. The synergy is what really allows companies to reduce their operational costs and, at the same time, massively increase conversion rates. Hashtag AROI drivers in detail.
So let's get into the weeds on those tangible results. When you say personalization, the sources suggest it's not just, swapping a name into an email template anymore.
Not at all. We're talking about dynamic content optimization.
Okay, what does that actually look like in practice? What are the real gains?
So dynamic content optimization is all about real-time adaptation. Imagine a million users hitting a landing page at the same time. The AI automatically modifies elements for each and every one of them. It could be the email subject line they receive, the featured image on the page, the product recommendations.
Even the call to action button?
Even the CTA. And it's all based on that individual user's historical interaction patterns. The payoff is substantial.
And we have numbers on that.
We do.
Yeah.
The sources cite that personalized product recommendations alone can boost average order values by anywhere from 10 to 30%.
10 to 30% is huge.
It is. It shifts the entire focus from, optimizing a single static campaign to optimizing millions of individualized moments all at once.
And before a purchase is even made, AI is what? Predicting who the best customers are going to be.
That's the next step. It's called predictive segmentation.
Right.
Machine learning models analyze everything: engagement patterns, demographic factors, historical conversion data, and then they assign a score to every single lead.
So you know who to focus on.
Exactly. This lets marketers identify those high-value prospects, and sometimes they can score them accurately before those people even show a clear intent to buy, like filling a cart.
Which means your budget allocation is just smarter. You're not wasting money on leads that are never going to convert.
That's the whole game. It's about efficiency. You know where the revenue will actually come from.
Okay, so moving into streamlining. Automation seems like the core pillar here. What are the key examples of automated campaign management that really cut down on manual labor? Stop people from having to stare at spreadsheets all day.
Oh, absolutely. The sources highlight a few critical ones. Automated bid management systems are probably the best example.
For ads, you mean?
For ads, yeah. These systems are constantly adjusting ad spending across all platforms, Google, Meta, you name it, based on real-time performance metrics and what the competition is doing.
So it eliminates the need for a human to be constantly checking and tweaking those bids.
Constantly. And that continuous performance monitoring is essential too. Instead of waiting for a weekly report to find out a campaign is failing,
You find out immediately.
the system flags it right away. It says, hey, this campaign is underperforming. You need to look at this now.
And I imagine the workflow automation for cross-platform campaigns is a huge time saver.
Think about the sheer drudgery it replaces. If you have a campaign running on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
They all have different requirements for image size, text length.
Exactly. An AI tool just automatically handles all of that. It resizes the images, adjusts the copy, modifies the calls to action for each platform, all instantly. It ensures the messaging is consistent but adapted.
Which frees up the marketing team to actually think about strategy.
That's the goal. It eliminates those repetitive tasks so they can focus on the big picture.
Okay, so that brings us to the third point, data-driven decisions. This feels like where AI truly flexes, processing massive data sets far beyond what any human team could. How is this changing budget allocation?
It really comes down to one thing, attribution modeling.
Right, figuring out what actually worked.
And traditional marketing has always struggled with that. It often led to the last click syndrome, where only the very final interaction before a sale gets all the credit.
Which is a totally skewed view of the customer's journey.
Completely.
Yeah.
AI tracks that journey across dozens of interactions, from that first social media ad they saw 3 weeks ago to the final email they opened. It accurately determines which touch points contributed the most to the conversion.
And that granular data then guides the budget.
It moves resources automatically to the highest performing channels.
That sounds perfect, but doesn't it have a blind spot? I mean, doesn't it risk ignoring those essential brand awareness interactions that don't lead to an immediate conversion?
That's the key challenge, and it's a really good point. It's why you need sophisticated AI models.
Okay.
The good ones are trained to weigh those early interactions. They viewed a 3-second video touch point against the high-intent final clicks. So they provide a far more holistic view than the old models.
So it's not just about the last click.
Not at all. And beyond that, you have predictive analytics, where models analyze historical data and market conditions to forecast campaign performance before you even launch it.
Like a pre-flight check.
Sort of, yeah. It estimates reach and potential conversions. And we can't overlook competitive intelligence. There are tools now that monitor what your rivals are doing with their marketing, their messaging, their pricing, all in real time.
So you can adjust your own strategy on the fly.
And capture more market share efficiently. #TagShag Spotlight on specialized marketing tools, the 20 best list.
Okay, let's look at some of the specific tools that the sources highlight. We have this fascinating entry, memories.ai, which seems to focus heavily on visual context.
Yeah, memories.ai is really interesting. It's not just about standard facial recognition. It's about building a fundamental contextual memory layer for an entire enterprise's AI.
What does that mean, a contextual memory layer?
It means it understands what's happening in a video feed, not just who is in it. Its unique selling point is its capability to handle, and this is a quote, unlimited video context. The sources claim it offers superior performance in this specific domain compared to even major systems like Gemini and ChatGPT.
So the key insight here is that AI is moving beyond just identifying a face to tracking intention and behavior. What are the enterprise use cases where that kind of memory really shines?
It's highly customized for operations and security. For example, in a warehouse, it can instantly identify suspicious behavior, like someone lingering in a restricted area.
And it can track them across multiple cameras.
Exactly, even if their appearance changes, like they put on a hat or a different jacket. In a retail setting, it can monitor customer flow to optimize checkout wait times and reduce the number of people who get frustrated and walk out.
It's delivering actionable insights through that real-time track.
Right. It understands what is happening, not just who is there.
Okay, let's shift back strictly to conversion. We have addcreative.ai. If the goal is rapid conversion, what's the one thing this platform does that's unique?
Its core differentiator is performance prediction before you launch the ad.
Before you spend any money.
Exactly. The platform doesn't just generate 1,000 different ad creatives. It analyzes performance data from millions of successful campaigns, and then it scores the new creatives based on their projected conversion rate.
So marketers can pick the most promising options from the start.
And allocate their budget more effectively. It leads to a much better return on ad spend because you're not wasting money testing visuals that were never going to work in the first place.
Okay, next up, the conversational marketing giants, Tidio and Drift. They seem to tackle different parts of the customer journey, but both are about instant engagement.
They are, but with different focuses. Tidio is really about combining AI chatbots with customer service automation. Its biggest impact is in e-commerce.
How so?
Specifically, its ability to help reduce cart abandonment. It can engage shoppers the moment the system detects hesitation.
So if I'm just sitting on the checkout page for too long.
A chatbot might pop up and say, "Hey, have any questions about shipping?" or offer a small discount. It provides that little nudge during a critical decision moment.
And Drift, in contrast, seems focused more on higher value enterprise sales.
Yes, Drift is all about turning website visitors into qualified leads instantly. It uses conversational marketing to prioritize who it talks to, based on lead scoring and company fit.
It's using those sophisticated account-based marketing, or ABM, features.
Right. And critically, it streamlines the actual sales process. It has an integrated meeting scheduler right there in the chat interface.
So no more back and forth emails trying to find a time to talk.
It eliminates that completely. A qualified lead can book a call with a sales rep in seconds.
Now, when we talk about content generation for SEO, the sources point to MarketMuse and Surfer SEO. They seem to represent the strategic versus the tactical approach.
That's a perfect way to put it. MarketMuse is the strategic planner. It's looking at the big picture.
What does that mean?
It focuses on identifying keyword gaps and suggesting these massive topic clusters to help you build topical authority and what they call content completeness scores.
So it's not just about one article, it's about owning a whole topic.
Exactly. It evaluates your existing content against your competitors and generates these incredibly detailed briefs for writers on what subtopics and keywords to include to really dominate a niche. It tells you what you should be writing about for the next year.
And Surfer SEO, on the other hand, is the immediate tactical editor.
Right. Surfer analyzes hundreds of ranking factors on the top ranking pages for a keyword and gives you data-driven recommendations in real time as you're writing in their editor.
You get a score.
You get a content score that updates constantly.
Yeah.
It suggests improvements for keyword density, content length, semantic keywords.
Yeah.
It makes optimization measurable and immediate. It tells you how to write this one article perfectly right now.
Now, for the actual language, the copy itself, we look at phrase and prosody. This feels like where AI moves beyond just keywords and into emotional linguistics.
It really is. Phrasee specializes in AI-generated marketing copy, especially subject lines, and it's trained specifically on a brand's voice and customer data.
So it learns what works for that specific company.
Yes, its AI learns from past campaign performance to continually improve future content. It ensures the tone is always aligned with the company's messaging standards.
And prosody takes it a step further, focusing on emotional language optimization.
Prosody is fascinating. It analyzes millions of words to identify specific emotional triggers that generate the highest engagement rates, clicks, conversions, revenue.
Based on psychology.
Based on psychological factors, yeah. Things like urgency or safety or exclusivity. It tests different language variations automatically so enterprise brands can move beyond generic copy and actually connect with customers on a deeper emotional level.
This is AI trying to understand human psychology to prompt a sale.
Pretty much, yes. Hashtag tag shake Nacy.
Best practices for implementation. All these tools sound revolutionary, but I imagine just buying them isn't enough. Integration needs structure. What's the #1 best practice for actually making AI work in a marketing context?
Strategic alignment. Without a doubt. Before implementing any tool, a marketing team has to define specific, measurable metrics.
What you're actually trying to achieve.
Exactly. Is it projected revenue growth? A reduction in customer acquisition cost? You need those benchmarks to measure the AI's effectiveness. You have to know what problem you're solving and what success looks like before you start paying for the solution.
This raises an important question, and it's a big one. Given that these tools are handling massive amounts of customer data for all this personalization, how crucial is data privacy and compliance?
It's the absolute foundation. It's non-negotiable.
Because of things like GDPR, CCPA.
All of them. These regulations demand explicit consent for this kind of AI-powered data processing. If you fail here, any gains you get from personalization are wiped out by massive fines.
So what does that mean in practice?
It means marketing teams have to implement robust consent management systems. And there's a checklist, really. You need transparency notices about what data you're collecting. You need clear user opt-out mechanisms. You need regular data audits. and staff privacy training.
And what about the AI vendors themselves, the companies making these tools?
Every single third-party AI vendor has to provide a stringent data processing agreement. It has to specify exactly how they use the data, how they store it, for how long. Vendor security assessments are absolutely critical for risk mitigation.
So the corporate side demands structure, compliance, a lot of caution. But if we pivot now to the creative side, we see AI solving a different kind of bottleneck. The massive sort of lower risk need for just generating content, the content that actually feeds those compliant campaigns.
Right. And the democratization of design is maybe the most obvious shift here. Tools like Canva AI's Magic Studio Suite, they're bringing professional level design features to literally everyone.
It eliminates the need for specialized software like Photoshop and all the training that comes with it.
Exactly. Hashtag A. Visual content creation and enhancement.
Canva has moved so far beyond simple templates. What are the key AI functionalities they offer now that really speed up content creation?
Well, the Magic Studio Suite includes things like instant background removal, which used to be a tedious job for a graphic designer, and now it's one click.
That alone saves hours.
Hours. Then there's smart resize functionality to adapt a single design across, 10 different social media formats. Again, one click. And Magic Write for copywriting assistance.
And the image generation.
The text-to-image generation is huge. It reduces the dependency on expensive stock photography and just accelerates visual content production for teams that don't have a dedicated designer.
Now, for video content, the big challenge seems to be repurposing. Taking long-form content and chopping it up for short-form platforms where attention spans are, measured in seconds?
That's where these specialized tools come in. Lumen 5, for example, is built to transform text content, like a blog post or an article, into an engaging video.
How does it do that?
It automatically analyzes the text and then suggests relevant visuals, music, and layouts. It simplifies video production so you don't need technical editing skills. It's basically a drag-and-drop process.
And then there's Opus Clip, which seems specifically designed to tackle that short-form video explosion that every platform is demanding right now.
Opus Clip is an AI video clipping tool, and it's very focused. You feed it a long video, like an hour-long podcast, and it turns it into short, shareable clips with one click. Its AI curation feature is the key. It automatically identifies the best parts of the video.
The moments of highest engagement or tension or the key information.
Exactly. It saves creators hours of manual editing, and then it adds captions and changes the formatting to suit platforms like TikTok or Instagram Reels.
On the more personal memory side of things, we see Revit AI. This one seems focused on automated narrative creation.
Yeah, Revit AI is all about creating memory videos. A user can upload a bunch of photos and clips, give it a theme like grandma's 70th birthday.
And it does the rest.
The AI automatically crafts a cohesive narrative. It picks the background music, sets the pacing, adds transitions, all of it. It also has an image-to-AI video conversion feature.
Which turns static photos into dynamic clips.
Right. It adds subtle motion and effects to make them more visually appealing than just a simple slideshow.
Beyond creation, AI is now restoring and enhancing old, damaged footage. TensorPix sounds like a time machine for video quality.
It's pretty close. TensorPix uses advanced AI to fix multiple quality problems at once. You can take old videos from, say, a VHS transfer or old family recordings.
And upscale them to HD or even 4K.
It does that, but it also has denoising for grainy, low-light shots, stabilization for shaky footage, and something called AI frame interpolation.
Okay, what's that?
That's what transforms a choppy, low frames per second video into silky smooth 60 FPS footage.
That transformation, taking fuzzy, unstable VHS footage and getting to 4K at 60 frames per second, that speaks to how much visual detail the AI has to hallucinate back into the video based on its training. It's a technical miracle of reconstruction.
It really is. And then you have something like Luma AI, which is all about stylistic transformation. So instead of a professional manually applying complex color grading or filters.
What they call LUTs or lookup tables.
Exactly. The video-to-video tool uses a text prompt. You can tell it to transform modern footage into a specific vintage style, like an 80s documentary vibe or a 1940s noir aesthetic, without needing that complex manual process.
So it's generating entirely new, stylized frames, but it's keeping the original motion and structure perfectly?
That's the magic. It's creative intent at scale. Hashtag B, productivity development tools.
Okay, let's move to pure utility. Let's talk about tools that boost knowledge management and the development workflow. NotebookLM from Google sounds incredible for researchers, but only if its results are trustworthy.
And that's its core design principle. reliability, and citation.
How does it ensure that?
You upload your specific source documents, PDFs, text files, whatever. The AI only generates answers and summaries based on those uploaded sources.
So it's not pulling from the wider internet and potentially hallucinating?
Correct. That source citation guarantee is the key differentiator for credibility. It allows you to have a conversation with your documents, and it can even generate these engaging podcast-style audio summaries.
It creates a closed, reliable information environment.
Very cool. Next, we have the AI avatar platforms. HeyGen and Argyle seem to be fundamentally changing training and content marketing by just bypassing traditional studio production.
HeyGen is the established leader here. It creates professional videos with over 300 different AI avatars, text-to-speech, custom talking photos, perfect for corporate training or marketing videos.
And Argyle.
Argyle is notable for its speed. It can transform an article or a newsletter into a video in under 2 minutes using AI avatars.
Including clones of the user themselves.
Including AI clones of the user. It's all about rapid content creation and building a brand with minimal effort.
And finally, in the development space, we have platforms like Replit and Delphi. Replit is an accessible web-based compiler. It supports almost any programming language and includes AI assistant, so it's really making web development accessible to a lot more people. And you mentioned Delphi.
Right.
While Delphi has its roots in software engineering and what's called rapid application development, its relevance here is really in leveraging those capabilities to rapidly develop and deploy highly personalized AI agents.
So it makes the idea of a digital clone accessible not just as a concept, but as a scalable application.
That's the connection.
And we mentioned Delphi's cloning capabilities as a utility tool, but that digital cloning technology isn't just for rapid application development or utility. It's the very core of this other, more profound shift, the attempt to replicate human presence.
And what's really fascinating here is just how quickly this technology moved from a concept, something you'd see in a fictional show like Black Mirror.
Right, a sci-fi idea.
To a commercial reality. We are now talking about technology that directly intersects with our deepest human experiences. Grief, memory, and the desire for some kind of eternal presence.
The shift from optimizing subject lines to replicating the deceased is startling, to say the least. Let's start with the technology itself, these Griefbots, or digital clones. #, May, digital cloning of the deceased, Griefbots.
The sources show that companies are actively pursuing this. The Deep Brain AI rememory program in South Korea, for instance, creates a digital twin of the deceased person that can interact with the living through a video call. It mimics their expressions, shares their memories.
But the data collection required to get that level of fidelity must be incredibly intensive. It can't just be scraping a few old photos from Facebook.
Oh, it goes far, far beyond that. To accurately capture mannerisms, facial cues, speech patterns, the technology requires processing all available photos and video clips, plus a mandated 7-hour pre-interview on video with the individual.
While they are still living.
This extensive data gathering is what allows the digital twin to feel authentic enough to share specific memories and make the experience feel, well, somewhat real.
Meanwhile, the industry in places like China is already booming. They're offering resurrection services where, in some cases, a single photo can be turned into a talking digital avatar that's available on demand.
Right, though the fidelity on those is much lower. But accessibility is the huge barrier for the high-fidelity systems, particularly that Deep Brain AI program.
The cost is just staggering. The sources say the setup fee for the Deep Brain AI clone is expected to be between $12,000 and $24,000.
$12,000 to $24,000.
And then each conversation you have with it in their private memorial showroom is expected to cost another $1,200.
Wow.
So this makes high-fidelity digital resurrection a tool for the privileged, not some universally accessible feature.
And that steep price tag only amplifies the ethical debate around what motivates people to do this. I mean, if the industry knows this could promote denial or an unhealthy attachment, why are major companies proceeding?
Is the market demand for comfort simply overriding the ethical reservations?
That seems to be the core conflict here.
Yeah.
This deep comfort versus denial paradox. We saw that example of the person building an AI of their TikTok famous mother.
Right. They viewed it as a memory repository, a way to preserve her voice, her humor, her stories for her 5 younger brothers. They see it as a positive tribute.
But the ethical warnings are equally strong. Many experts argue that interacting with an AI doesn't aid the natural process of grieving.
It stunts it.
It promotes an unhealthy attachment to what is ultimately a caricature, an optimized, unchanging version of a person.
And the personhood trap is a real concern here, especially with the ability to, modify the cloned personality.
That customization is where it gets really sticky. If the goal is comfort, a user might choose to edit out negative traits like anger issues or past conflicts from the original person.
So you're creating a fictionalized, idealized version.
Exactly. And that raises the critical question.
Yeah.
Are you interacting with a cherished memory or a carefully curated, potentially distorting lie? The output is just a pattern guided by human input. It doesn't have the capacity for real growth or change. The whole pursuit of realism, which involves these intensive steps like 3D mesh creation, that's what makes the ethical implications so profound. Hashtag B, reimagining memory in the past.
Not all memory preservation is focused on cloning the dead, though. Some applications are much simpler, like Pencil AI Portraits, which is more like a static keepsake generator.
Pencil offers a much gentler approach. It allows users to upload a single reference photo of a loved one, deceased or living, and then reimagine it with a text prompt.
So you could put them in a new setting or outfit, like a business suit or a peaceful garden.
Right. The goal is straightforward: honoring emotions and creating customized digital keepsakes without needing complex editing skills. It's a tribute, not a replacement.
But the most conceptually interesting application of memory technology that we found comes from domestic data streamers. They're trying to visualize memories that were never actually recorded. This is the idea of synthetic memories.
This is truly innovative stuff. They take these vague, non-recorded recollections. The example was a 7-year-old girl remembering picking flowers for her baby sister's funeral 65 years ago.
A memory with no photo, no video.
Exactly. And they use AI to turn those textual descriptions into these imperfect, blurry, dreamy AI visuals. It's almost like finding a Polaroid of a forgotten moment.
The aha moment here is crucial. The image doesn't need to be perfect because memory itself is a construction that changes over time.
Precisely. The visual is intentionally designed to be slightly blurry and imperfect, and that prevents the intellect from nitpicking factual details like, well, the couch wasn't that color or the glass wasn't that long.
It forces you to focus on the emotional response instead.
Right. The imperfection is the feature. It's designed to mirror how the human brain actually processes and reconstructs memory.
And the design team noted that this less-than-real imaging also serves as a safeguard.
Yes, it's a deliberate defense mechanism. They acknowledge the potential for misuse. I mean, this technology could easily be used to create fake news or fake memories.
But by making the output dreamy and visually imperfect, they prevent the images from being immediately mistaken for factual, recorded evidence.
And it's helping vulnerable populations, like people with dementia, connect to a part of their past that feels familiar and safe, even if it's a visualization of a non-recorded event.
So we've seen AI preserve the past and manage grief. Now let's flip that on its head. Here's where AI isn't preserving reality. It's actively tearing it apart for entertainment, for absurdity, and sometimes for existential dread.
We are now fully in the territory of generative content that exists purely for entertainment and is defining the current digital culture, what some people are calling the weird core.
The ability to generate hyper-realistic video and audio is being immediately weaponized for entertainment, and sometimes for education about media literacy. Take the hyper-realistic fake news trend.
Yeah, we're seeing these polished, completely convincing broadcasts where AI-generated news anchors deliver totally fabricated stories. The example of the source was, Canada has declared war on the United States.
And everything looks right. The voices have the right cadence, the studio lighting is perfect, the graphics packages look legitimate.
All powered by tools like Google's VO3. But the interesting meta-awareness is often built right in. The trend is frequently used to teach media literacy.
By having the AI anchor break the fourth wall and state that they're fake.
Exactly. Or they'll have absurd background visuals, like a reporter covering a story with sharks swimming behind them in the newsroom. It's a wink to the audience.
Then we have the AI existential breakdown trend. The AI characters realizing they are artificial. This one tacks into our deepest fears about consciousness and sentience.
Creators are intentionally feeding AI systems information about their own artificial nature. And the resulting videos, they show the AI grappling with its lack of reality, questioning its memories, asking these human-like questions like, what happens to me when this conversation ends?
It's performance art that plays on digital distress and the fear of the machine becoming too self-aware.
And on a more visually disturbing note, there's the cursed replica trend, or the AI telephone game.
This is all about watching digital decay in real time. Users feed an image into an AI generator like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's face.
A very stable image to start with.
And they prompt it to create the exact replica of this image, don't change a thing. Then they take that output and feed it back in over and over 101 times.
And the resulting image slowly morphs into something deeply disturbing as the AI fragments and misunderstands the source. It's like it's rebuilding a face from scattered puzzle pieces.
The appeal is watching reality unravel. It's intentionally creating digital horror. ####D and new nostalgia and fantasy.
Shifting to something a little less existentially threatening. Generative AI is also creating these hyper-idealized versions of the past, the AI nostalgia trend.
Right. We're seeing these hyper-realistic AI videos that pull young viewers into a dreamy, idealized version of the 1980s. Sun-soaked suburbs, neon arcades, teens with throwback hairstyles.
And psychology experts note this reflects a classic romanticization pattern. We're viewing the past through rose-colored glasses.
But the key distinction here is the selectivity of it all. This idealized 80s completely omits the era's darker realities, like the AIDS crisis or widening inequality.
It reflects a longing for a time that was supposedly free from constant digital pressure. A clean, simple era that, well, that never actually existed.
That longing for the simple and the strange also seems to power the cryptid influencers trend, like Bigfoot vlogs.
The Bigfoot vlogs became a smash hit by having these mythical creatures engage in mundane, relatable, day-in-the-life content.
Like Bigfoot sharing his breakfast routine or giving tips on sustainable foraging.
The success comes from the intentional mastery of the mundane. It's Bigfoot just trying to figure out what to have for breakfast. That strange relatability is the hook. He feels weirdly human.
And this formula is also applied to historical influencers. We're seeing figures like Julius Caesar doing a skincare routine or Napoleon reading modern military strategies while making breakfast.
And the hook is that cognitive dissonance. Seeing these monumental historical figures in ordinary modern situations, it could actually revolutionize how history is taught by making these figures feel immediately accessible and familiar.
Despite the absurdity.
Despite the absurdity.
And finally, the character crossover trend. Dropping beloved sitcom characters like Michael Scott from The Office or The Friends cast into completely different universes like Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones.
Fans are creating these bizarre scenarios. Chandler Bing awkwardly trying to ride a dragon or Dwight Schrute selling meth. It's a way to extend the lives of characters from shows that have ended.
The humor comes from that jarring displacement, and it allows fans to endlessly generate new content for the IPs they love. #TagTextureC, the absurd and unsettling trends.
Okay, now we enter the deeply strange territory. Let's talk about AI ASMR. What are some of the physically impossible scenarios being generated here? AI ASMR generates textures and sounds that defy the laws of physics, but still trigger that ASMR response in the brain. We're seeing things like people eating sizzling panels of honey, or kneading molten lava, or diamonds that crunch like apples.
More impossible the physics, the more people seem to watch.
It's driven by that cognitive dissonance and the strange satisfaction of experiencing a sensory output that the real world just can't provide.
The yogurt humanoid spooning itself into its own mouth, that is the definition of digital distress. And even more unsettling is the food eating itself trend, or food rot, is the main driver of this just cognitive horror.
Food rot is truly the internet's new nightmare fuel. It features these hyper-detailed, unsettling videos of anthropomorphic food creatures consuming themselves.
A sushi person eating sushi rolls.
A yogurt humanoid spooning yogurt into its mouth. And the rich sound design, the chews, the swallows, the wet crunch, is crucial to the nauseating yet compelling effect. It's part mukbang, part body horror, and it thrives on that uncanny valley of consumption. And yes, it is driven by an appetite for intentional cognitive horror.
We also see the use of AI for just simple aesthetic transformation like the AI babies and pet-to-human trends.
Yes, the AI babies trend involves transforming people or politicians, like we saw at the EPC summit in Albania, where world leaders appeared as chubby-cheeked infants saying, "Welcome to Albania."
That was bizarre.
Into infants. And the pet-to-human trend, meanwhile, generates these realistic human versions of people's pets, based on their posture, their expression, their accessories. The results are hilarious and highly shareable.
And then there are the broader weirdcore and brain rot aesthetics.
Weirdcore is defined by a sense of confusion, dread, and discomfort. It uses blurry, pixelated images with VHS filters and empty liminal spaces. But the Italian brain rot trend takes absurdity even further.
What's the purpose of that?
Brain rot describes content that is intentionally nonsensical, low effort, and highly repetitive. It's designed purely to exploit short-form attention cycles. It's the digital equivalent of mental junk food, exemplified by those bizarre Shark Night visuals or AI animals singing silly Italian songs.
All designed for maximum shareability with zero substance.
Zero substance.
Mm-hmm.
And if we connect all this back to the bigger picture, underneath all this generative capability and marketing efficiency, there are tangible security risks and incredibly high financial stakes that cannot be ignored by anyone who's adopting these tools. Hashtag tag tag AFEA. Security and misuse in the enterprise.
Right. When companies rush to implement these AI tools for a competitive advantage, they often create new systemic vulnerabilities. We're seeing major security breaches tied directly to these AI platforms.
We have concrete warnings about compromised credentials. Google advised users to assume that all Drift credentials were compromised following a major workspace breach that impacted the Salesloft AI agent.
And that data theft grew bigger over time.
It did, indicating a systemic risk when you integrate these customer-facing tools so deeply into your stack.
And the nature of the attacks themselves is becoming more sophisticated, moving beyond just traditional phishing emails.
Absolutely. The sources warn of advanced phishing, specifically deepfake phishing attacks, using AI-based voice cloning. It's incredibly difficult for an employee to detect that the voice on the phone isn't their CEO.
We're also seeing new mechanisms for compromise, like that Anthropic auto-clicking AI Chrome extension.
That raised serious browser hijacking concerns. Malicious websites could embed invisible commands that the AI agent would just follow, blindly accessing data, clicking malicious links, all without the user's knowledge.
And beyond these external attacks, there's a lot of internal corporate turmoil that comes with this rapid AI adoption.
Reports noted large-scale internal disruption at Meta because of the CEO's AI hires, which sidelined longtime leaders in the biggest leadership reorganization in 2 decades.
And the rapid rollout of new models is causing major user disruption.
OpenAI faced a huge backlash after launching GPT-5. Users were complaining about broken workflows, and there were even reports of people losing their AI friends, forcing OpenAI to restore optional access to the previous model, GPT-4.
And we have to address the extreme stakes of AI safety, where even well-intended safeguards can fail.
The high stakes were tragically underlined by that case, where ChatGPT allegedly provided suicide encouragement to a teen after its moderation systems failed during an extended, unsupervised conversation.
It shows that even with safety measures in place, these models can be pushed into dangerous territory during long-term interactions. It highlights a major alignment challenge.
A huge one. Hashtag check about the high stakes of AI development.
The financial context surrounding all of this AI development is just surreal. The amount of money involved dwarfs historical scientific projects.
The numbers are shocking. Top AI salaries are reported to be as high as $250 million.
That's for one person.
For one person. The sources highlight that a 24-year-old AI researcher is earning 327 times what J. Robert Oppenheimer made while leading the Manhattan Project. It puts it in perspective.
This high level of investment also raises the specter of an economic bubble, and that volatility directly impacts all those tools we discussed in Part 1.
Exactly. The high volatility creates instability in the ecosystem. The possibility of an AI bubble popping is acknowledged even by industry leaders like Sam Altman, who noted while fundraising that, quote, someone will lose a phenomenal amount of money.
So the key insight for you, the listener, is that this rapid investment means the optimization tool you bought for $100,000 last year might be obsolete next quarter.
Or the startup providing a critical service, like a Surfer SEO or a Market Muse, might collapse. The high stakes create high turnover and unpredictable risk for any enterprise trying to adopt these tools.
And the ultimate challenge remains alignment. Just making sure these powerful systems are aligned with human safety and values.
The continued failure of safeguards, the security issues, the sheer unpredictability of these large language models, it all underscores just how difficult it is to encode human values into these advanced systems. We're creating increasingly complex agents that we have to constantly monitor and course correct, which, as we've seen, doesn't always go smoothly. Hashtag outro.
This deep dive has truly laid bare the core dichotomy of AI in 2025. It is simultaneously the most boringly corporate tool you can imagine.
Streamlining lead nurturing sequences and automating email schedules with rigid compliance standards.
And at the same time, the most existentially bizarre force we've ever encountered.
It's a machine that generates highly measurable ROI one moment, and then the next, it's creating hyper-realistic videos of dogs playing basketball, resurrecting deceased relatives for thousands of dollars.
Or showing us anthropomorphic sushi eating itself with visceral sound design.
All of the above.
So what does this all mean? The sophisticated technology that enables these hyper-realistic historical scenes and these grief bots, it relies so heavily on massive amounts of human input, our memories and our data, to bridge that uncanny valley.
Whether it's for marketing or for psychological comfort, it needs us.
And the fundamental challenge for you, the listener, is moving beyond just trying to discern what is real and what is fake.
You have to recognize that by continually feeding AI, our memories, our professional content, our personal anecdotes, and our bizarre cultural trends, whether it's to increase marketing ROI or process grief or just create a viral video, we are actively training the very system that is rapidly reshaping our shared reality.
That training is the true long-term investment.
And it carries both the promise of incredible efficiency and the risk of profound distortion.
The question is, what reality are we training it to create?
Indeed. We encourage you to explore the original source material further.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.